I honestly can't wait for the last episodes of Season 1. It's top tier Spidey goodness.
Yeah, that Craven episode was a bit disappointing. But next we've got Venom and Hobgoblin. Get it?
Oh, 100%. The Venom episodes are like engraved into my mind.
Hang on a second. I seem to remember there being 13 episodes in Season 1. But Venom's only 3 parts and Hobgoblin's 2.
Oh shit, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
What sinister supervillain could possibly top Venom and the Hobgoblin for the finale of Season 1? Green Goblin. Carnage.
Oh man, imagine Spidey versus the Green Goblin in the finale. Like an all-out brawl.
It's the Chameleon.
I'm sorry, what?
I said it's the fucking Chameleon.
Oh, we're not seriously gonna end Season 1 of our watch-along with the Chameleon, are we?
Hello and welcome back to a very special episode of the Panel Pals Watch Spider-Man the Animated Series. I'm Skull Ryan.
And I'm MN Stash.
Ooh, and who's the devious son of a bitch we're checking out today?
We got such a devious foe he's so devious to the point where we had to, instead of doing him last for the series finale, we had to just push him forward a bit to now because
we couldn't wait.
Exactly. You could get that from the intro, where we're clearly thrilled to be looking at this episode.
Oh boy. It is, of course,
I couldn't even remember
White
the name of the
Skull. literally Day of the Chameleon.
Oh,
Even
yeah,
though
that's
several days passed throughout the whole episode. At least 3.
Arkham Batman would have taken him down in one night.
Mate, he wouldn't have got out the airport before Arkham Batman would have shot him with the red gun.
He would have broken all his bones anyway. By the time he steps foot, he would have had a broken leg, arm.
Steps off the plane and Batman's just waiting for him with the handcuffs. Shit.
Well, he would be the only competent person to take on the Chameleon, especially with this episode.
Christ, yeah. Be like everyone in this episode, not the Chameleon. Bit of a moron.
Yeah, it's actually impressive to the lengths they would go to just show how stupid Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. can actually be. You know, it's funny though.
Stan Carter would have done a better job than Agent 1 or whatever the hell her name was in this.
But even just like in the start when they're like, oh, he's got a disguise that's undetectable, as the Chameleon's disguise has a very clear, distinct belt. It's like,
yeah. A belt with a monitor on the front.
Yeah, a giant screen, a thick belt. Does everyone just have the same belt, apparently, in this world?
Apparently, they're all very high-tech. Also, this tells me that because it's a piece of equipment, this is replicatable. So, why is there only one Chameleon? Why haven't Russia geared people up with this shit?
And also, you can't have his, like, classic breakdowns from the 90s anymore, because you can't really get that cool mid-shift scene, because he has a fucking belt. Just rip the belt off.
Yeah, and it glows rather than him putting an effort of masks or prosthetics. It flashes.
It's a bit lazy. Did you like the costume, though? That jumpsuit he sort of wore? Or do you prefer, like, the suit, where he wears the suit and mask?
There's a scene where he wore, like, a cat suit in a way when he was sneaking into the party. And he looked a bit like the Scarlet Spider. Like, his mask's eyes were angular. And I remember thinking, that looks sick. But otherwise, he looks a bit like he's from He-Man.
Oh, yeah, he does. Even just, like, in terms of Chameleon designs, I don't think it's the worst he's had.
I'll tell you, the worst Chameleon's ever had.
Well, his first one.
It was like a second appearance, and he's in, like, it looks like he's wearing a potato sack full of different colours.
Oh, wait, let me try and find it, wait.
Yeah, do you know what I'm on about, though? It's like a rainbow mess of a costume. Type in Chameleon costume, comes up with, like, fancy dress Chameleon.
The one I was thinking of was more, I think, It is the Amazing Spider-Man issue 80, where he's like almost in a white gown.
Issue 80,
I
Chameleon.
think that's I think that's more of a the animated series did a better job than that one, I feel.
Yeah, he at least looks distinct in this. He looks a bit like a ghost in issue 80. I'll try and find the picture that I'm thinking of. But I think it may have been his second appearance. No, that would have been
I,
Craven. His
I don't
second
mind when
solo
Bagley draws
appearance.
him.
Ooh. Well, the 90s and that was the only time Chameleon was nearly threatening. Because all that, like,
The
the
parent
Peter
shit.
Parent plot and all that shit.
But then
That's
wasn't it
only,
like Goblin set it up as well? Because then they have that massive screen where he's like, "Gotcha, gotcha," and
yeah,
he kept
it
saying "gotcha"
was.
over and over again.
Yeah, mate, it was Harry's plan, but Chameleon was like his set. He was his Smythe to Harry's Kingpin.
Yeah, I remember that. All I remember is that panel of just that giant Harry going "gotcha," and Peter's
Yeah,
just freaking out on the ground.
yeah. The whole thing was bullshit. I found it. There we go. I'm gonna send you the photo of Chameleon's worst costume.
But as sad as or as shitty as of a story that was, I did think
Yeah.
it had some moments where it's like, oh, it's still sad.
Well, yeah. Overall, like
Like
thinking your
when,
parents are still alive when they've been dead for years, and then
but even
it
like,
being
I
bullshit.
thought they did well with certain aspects, like when Peter's mother actually sort of formed a bond with Pete.
It
Like
could
even
have
though she
been
was a
worse.
robot, she still like felt like his mother.
I just remember that panel where his dad is like revealed to be the robot, and he's going nuts trying to kill him, trying to kill Spidey.
What a what a costume!
Have you seen it yet? It's like,
My God,
how can we even describe it? It's just like
it's like
Microsoft Paint where you're
60s
picking your
Batman.
color.
I can see him fighting Adam West.
Yeah.
He'd give him a difficult riddle or some shit. Like that's the type of thing I'm getting from it. Who is this colorful fiend approaching the store?
The Amazing Spider-Man 186, I believe, is what that's from,
Oh
for
God.
those wanting to partake.
A pretty interesting era, I guess, from Amazing Spider-Man. I always found like the Bronze Age to sort of dull down before you get to like Hobgoblin.
Oh, but it does kick off when Hobgoblin turns up.
Yeah, it's like before that I find it pretty boring. Like from issue 200 to just before Hobgoblin. And then as soon
Yeah.
as he comes into the picture, it's like it changes altogether.
You know what, though? Speaking of issue 200, I love that build up of like the burglar coming back, the Restwell nursing home being like an extortion con by Mysterio. The scene where Mysterio puts Spidey in the swimming pool, traps him in a swimming pool, and fills it with water, but it's all an illusion.
I
When if
love
he'd
the
have
thought of
actually filled it with water, he probably would have killed Spider-Man.
But I love the thought of Spidey never stopped him. Like Mysterio to this day would still be running that racket of just.
Exactly.
It's
It
like,
wasn't even
could
like
you imagine?
he wasn't even investigating the nursing home. Mysterio was just like, caught me. Spider was like, what? I'm trying to find my dead aunts.
I
No.
mean, could you imagine if like the villains were like, "Where's Mysterio been all these years?" And then you just cut to Mysterio like
Yeah,
in a nursing home.
he's retired because it's stressful running the nursing home. So he's like, should have stayed with villainy.
He still wears the fishbowl at all times though in his office.
Yeah. Do you remember the book? There's a collectible in the PS4 Spider-Man written by Ludwig Reinhardt.
Oh, vaguely, yeah. One of the
Yeah.
collectibles before they got rid of them for the sequel
Oh, did
for
he?
whatever reason.
Oh my
Yeah, there's
god.
no like none of those like cool Easter eggs in the sequel. It's just
Ah,
whatever.
that's my favorite bit. The world building was my
I
favorite
do
bit.
love how he's like, oh yeah, Sandman's trapped in this backpack on top of Avengers Tower.
Yeah, so what the hell? You can't just do that. That's like that's
He's
worse than
alive.
killing them, Spider. He's in there. No one
He's
who's
looking at the
nuts.
same fucking notebook over and over again for years. No wonder he was pissed at the start of the sequel. He had to
Yeah,
stare at the same math
the start of the
equation.
sequel. dumb as well, because why is this living monster of natural elements scared of a big buff hunter? You're telling me
He could just,
Sandman couldn't kill Craven like that, mate?
but also he could just pretend to be a beach, and how was Craven gonna find him?
How's he gonna know? Exactly.
Yeah, unless you actively show yourself like he did. There's no way for Craven to really find you.
Yeah, if he's trying to hide or run away, why is he then attacking New York City as a big snowstorm?
It's like, so you
Ridiculous.
to get away from Craven, you get yourself captured to get like a form of protection. Yet Craven could probably just easily kill everyone there and take you out anyway.
Yeah, Craven and his men bust into the raft and escape with the
Kill everyone.
Scorpion and Mr. Negative. What's stopping them from busting into the local police station to get Sandman? Well, the sequel is
So
Garbo anyway,
stupid.
but Chameleon did appear briefly.
Are we surprised though that Chameleon appeared in the shit one?
Not at all, mate. And again, it was just to set up the third one. There's no boss fight with him. He doesn't even talk to
Like
Spider-Man,
the
does he?
Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Yeah. Again, why is he in that
They
game?
just
at
take
the end?
everything, but they take everything from the TASM games. Everything about
Yeah,
Insomniac's games are like the TASM games.
they've been stolen.
Even the
All from
silent
the Raimi
takedowns
games as
were
well.
very similar from the Amazing Spider-Man.
And they were already just reused. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 reused them from Shattered Dimensions, which stole them from
Even
Arkham Asylum, which
I
stole
couldn't
its
believe
combat from Spider-Man 2.
but in TASM 2, mate, the amount of reuse was insane. I don't think they actually ever made an original suit besides maybe the main suit games. Like besides that, it was just all reuse.
I remember TASM 1 got the Scarlet Spider's suit wrong because it
And
like
they,
left out the back logo.
oh yeah, I remember something being wrong about it, but like I know they did the inverted Future Foundation suit. Like it was
Yeah, they
like
made it white
almost black
instead of black,
white.
or the other way around.
Yeah,
One of them.
it was weird. I think wasn't it like the main color was black in that one instead of white in
Yeah,
the version they
but
used.
then Future Foundations are normally white in it. That was it. I
Yeah,
always
like
get confused
that's
what
what I
one's
always thought it
reversed.
was.
I first saw it in the game, and then when I'm reading the comic, and I'm like, why the hell is it wrong? Why does he look like Anti Venom?
Yeah, they just did. They for some reason they went the inverted option, but it's like even they used the DLC where you had to pay money to get these suits were all reused from the Edge of Time game. So it's like none
Yeah,
of it was really.
that was a big con as well because it was the only way to get the black suit. And obviously, everyone wants the black suit.
But oh no, but
Like,
I got it
God.
for the was the Hornet suit a part of that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it for the Hornet suit.
Ooh.
That's. I love when MJ was giving him all the costume designs, and she like loved the gladiator suit. Speaking of MJ, Chameleon in this episode gets with another one of Parker's women,
He
just
does,
like in
mate.
the comic books.
Just like what I spotted was obviously next MJ. When in the comic, MJ fucks him up real good with that baseball bat.
Unless
Chameleon.
it wasn't his roommate in the
Oh,
comic.
yeah, that's another thing I've got written down. In this episode, for briefly, Chameleon becomes Peter and he starts necking MJ and he starts, living the life. And he says he took a gamble that Peter Parker was the luckiest guy in the world, which is, there's an issue from Brand New Day where Chameleon steals Peter's life. And when he goes home to Forest Hills, Peter's currently living with Aunt May's other nieces who are all like fit models or something. And Chameleon's like, who the hell is Peter Parker and why has he got so many babes after?
I love that one scene though. As much as like Brand New Day was shit, but when Chameleon sleeps with was Michelle was her name,
Yeah.
and then
And
the
then she
next
thinks they're
morning,
together for like
even
fucking
like
months
I
after.
just I remember like that one panel where I think she's wearing Peter's shirt, and Pete like the real Peter gets home and she's like right in his face, just pissed off, and he's so confused. Like what just happened? It is a weird sort of theme though within Spider-Man comics that someone either acting as Peter or in Peter's body seems to just get with women.
Well, Peter nowadays, as we all know, is written like such a bitch. He's so shit that the only way Peter can be seen getting shit done is if someone else takes over. Like,
No, I got a
as
comment
bad
here.
as it was when Dr. Octopus takes over his life and suddenly Peter becomes a super scientist. The only way
Yeah,
shit can
and
happen for
in a
Peter
successful
is someone does it
relationship.
for him. Yeah.
But I
What were
even got a
you going to
comment
say?
saying, why would Shay, who seems like she wants a man of respect, even be with Peter at this point?
Yeah, he would have already blown his second chance with her, wouldn't he?
Well, the fact that she's already accustomed to him just going to the bathroom to avoid his responsibilities, like what do you
Oh, that
see in
annoyed me.
this
That
guy? It's like, what do you
when has
see in
that ever
this?
happened?
With him, it's like, what about him is so pulling towards you? Where he can't
Yeah,
even, like, he's running around, he's running away. He left. Does no
that
one
like
question where he goes as well? Because he's going into the bathroom up the fire escape or something. It's like,
yeah. Like I understand he always has to make up bullshit excuses to go and turn into Spider-Man, but he's never once been about like the bathroom. You know what I mean? And May says it as if that's his go-to excuse every time. It's like
even the
again,
worst thing was,
God,
he didn't, there wasn't a reason to be Spidey. He just did
yeah,
it to
he
avoid the
just left.
situation.
Yeah, like if he'd have looked out the window and Doom was back for him, I'd
But
be
yeah,
like,
if
fair
that's when
play.
the explosion happened, it'd make a bit more sense.
Instead, they
But
shoehorn Spider Boy into it for some reason.
who goes to a fucking 9-year-old for existential crisis?
The new Peter Parker, apparently, mate,
And then he goes
died
ice
in
cream. He's like,
500.
oh yeah. Did you see what Marvel said?
About what?
Marvel recent, like a couple days ago, came out and officially said that Peter can be with MJ, but they can't get married. Like they've gone out and fully said that they literally cannot be married.
Bit of bullshit in it. What?
Well, so I mean, way to kill all the hope for the fans.
Yeah. So now, even if they get back together, what's it matter? They're only gonna just some other writer, whether it be in a year or 10 years, even if they did get back together, some other dickhead writer's gonna come along and split them back up.
But it's also like, so you acknowledge that he can be with MJ, yet you refuse to do that. Even you refuse to even do that. You've completely dissolved the relationship. What's the point?
And it's not even just as MJ one now. Like, if we're meant to take this Shay woman seriously, why's the solicitations got him neck and black cat?
Yeah, like in the upcoming issue of what is it, Eight Deaths
Yeah,
of Spider-Man.
yeah. In the
Black Cat's
previews,
just
maybe it's like a flashback to the 80s or something. Maybe it's when
well,
she gets
like,
shot up by Dr. Octopus.
well, maybe like they're gonna ruin his life by killing him, and maybe they're gonna kill his personal life too. Because are they gonna explain Peter just disappearing?
No, I mean, because he'll,
I'm
he'll get away with it. Bad
I'm
writing again.
guessing I'm guessing like it's such a dire situation he can't just randomly go, hey Shay, by the way I'm gonna be missing for a while. It'd be like Doom would be like, no Peter, you need to actually fight these guys like in a row. You can't just leave.
What's Peter's job currently?
Probably being a twink to Shay.
Oh, definitely.
That's that's probably his form of payment.
He's a fluffer for Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The reason why there's a chair in a hotel room is for Peter.
yeah. Because like, if he's now got a, he can't use it as an excuse. Like back in the day, if he was out on a date with, let's say, Sissy Ironwood, he's out on a
Oh
date
yes.
and he sees something kicking off. He could then go, "Well, I'm basically Spider-Man's top photographer. I need to go to work," and Sissy would be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay." But now, if he's like some scientist or something, what's his excuse for running off?
But even like in one of Mary Jane's first proper appearances when the Rhino was wreaking havoc, I think.
Rampaging, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he go like, I need to take photos?
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, I'll go.
He shot off on his moped, mate. Yeah.
Back when Peter was a fucking Chad, mate, when he
Oh,
had the
yes,
motorcycle.
back in the day, he didn't need an excuse. He was his own man. He'd go,
Yeah,
listen,
even
bitch,
he didn't give a
I'm
shit if
going.
Aunt May didn't care. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
buying this. Remember when Aunt May would
Weapon, dude.
protest?
Yeah. Can you
I
just get
wish
the
she
bus
croaked.
like a normal boy? No. And then she had a heart
I
attack.
wish. Yeah,
Pretended.
looking for attention again, the bitch.
Again, mate. Again. Was Aunt May in this episode?
Thank
No.
God, no. I bloody
Chameleon
hope.
does later turn into Aunt May, though.
Yeah, I bet she was faking it still, even if it was the chameleon. Like, do you think when he turns into Aunt May, he just automatically has a heart attack?
Yeah. Turns into any sort of like, whoa.
One thing I did like, though, was that this
Yeah.
episode had Bruce the Gargoyle.
I put that down in mine as well, yeah. Bruce Spidey's one true friend.
I love how he always acknowledges that he's happy, even though he's the opposite.
Yeah, keep smiling, Bruce, as he swings it.
As the gargoyle's like screaming with such intense anger to the random birds. But he really is his only friend at this point.
Currently, yeah, like, he's not mates with Harry. He's not.
MJ's pissed.
Maybe MJ's pissed in this, yeah. Even though
You
it
did-
wasn't really Peter, but how do you explain that?
Did Spider-Man 2 copy this episode?
With them missing the play, definitely
Yeah.
makes.
Are we saying that The Day of the Chameleon is inspirational for one of the greatest comic book movies ever made?
Gotta be.
It's like that. It's like the photo of Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi reading the comic, but instead they're just watching this episode.
Well,
They probably got like heroin going straight into their forearms. It's that boring.
I'm trying to think if there's a bald fella in Spider-Man 2 we can say was the chameleon. Like, is one of Dr. Octopus's like lab aides or something?
What about one of the doctors?
Yeah. Or like the guys in the car who crash into Spider when he does the backflip. He goes, eat your vegetables. Could one of them be the chameleon?
If we count receding, we can say the guy that stole the pizza at the start was Chameleon.
Oh, that was Chameleon, mate. What's he up to? Evil.
He just wanted a pizza. I mean, like, an important character that did appear in this episode that I obviously when you're dealing with like spy shit, it's expected.
Yeah.
But you don't really expect to see much in general was Nick Fury. But the proper Nick Fury, the original Nick.
I can't believe the whitewashed Nick Fury.
It's gone woke.
Disgraceful. Yeah, David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury turns up, mate.
I've missed that bastard so much.
It must be weird for kids born in like recently when they go back and watch it. It's like, that's not Nick Fury.
It's like, but original Nick Fury fans have been starved for so long. We're last seeing off like Ultimate Alliance cutscenes at this point as the form of just we got
even like comic wise. Has he been in anything since original?
I don't think I've ever seen it. Like, I haven't seen him in any modern comic. I haven't even seen any Nick Fury.
I think he killed the Watcher and then took up his job on the moon in original Sin, and then that's it.
I had no clue, mate. Agent Coulson's death?
I didn't even know he was in the comics.
In the comics? Yeah.
I didn't know who that was in Amazing 61. I was like, who's this? What happened to Death? Like, sexy Death? The one with, like, Thanos' death?
Maybe she's too sexy and they had to just get rid of it.
Must have been. The DC one certainly is.
I do like the thought of just, like, Infinity Gauntlet being built on the fact that Thanos just wanted to get with Death.
Yeah. He literally wants to shag Death. That's his character motivation.
It's a way better motive than the movie, though. Like, the movie was like,
yeah.
Who gives a shit about that?
Too scared, Andy, the movies, mate. Give us comic book action. We're never
I
gonna
love
get
how she was
the
still pissed as
doppelganger
well.
in Spider-Man.
When are we gonna get Webman?
Where is now that Doom's coming? Where is Webman?
Even if Secret Wars happens, and then that's when they introduce Webman against like
Yeah.
Tom Holland, Spidey.
Flipside rolls in, dude. Nah.
I can't wait for like another Portal scene, but it's got like Breaking Bad and Tony Soprano and
Yes. Everyone turns up.
Teen Titans Go comes in.
Simba.
The
Everybody.
Chameleon.
You know what, mate? I'll tell you as something stupid. Speaking of movies and the Chameleon, there's a character, a Russian man in Spider-Man Far From Home
Oh yeah, yeah.
called Dmitri, who's a secret agent. And he wasn't the Chameleon, because Chameleon's real name is Dmitri Smerdakov. And the fact there's a character who's got his same first name and nationality and job in a movie that isn't the Chameleon. Like, imagine if in Homecoming, they had Herman Schultz, but he was never the Shocker.
It would have been way cooler if
Yeah,
they at least added that aspect.
I was expecting him to be a double agent working with Mysterio, because again, them two basically have the same power, except Mysterio can do more.
Delusion.
Yeah.
Illusion, sorry.
I've always thought Chameleon's just a shitter Mysterio, because he does everything.
On the wiki,
yeah, does it say?
the wiki
that was me,
says his full name.
Oh, God.
It's got the full name of Chameleon on the wiki, so it's saying that he's
on the movie
like,
one. So that is
Yeah.
movie Chameleon. What the fuck?
It says like Dmitry Smerdakov.
Oh, you're shitting me, dude. So it literally was the Chameleon, and they just never did anything with him. He didn't betray them or
Species
nothing.
human, citizenship Russian.
See what I mean? This is what the MCU's scared of. Like in that exact same movie, they fight a water monster, and Flash Thompson goes, "Well,
Hydra Man."
yeah." The news says it's some guy called Morris Bench who first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 251. It's like, what?
But even just like when I was a kid, or even when I go back to play this game, like Lego Marvel Avengers, which is just the MCU as a Lego.
Yeah.
There's so many characters where you wouldn't even recognize them in the movies unless the Lego Marvel game tells you who they are.
Really?
Like, there's so many characters where you're like, wait, what? And you're like, I never realized that, I don't know,
that was
this
them.
character. Yeah, it's because they don't wear a costume and they don't look anything like how they're supposed to.
Yeah. Flash Thompson.
No, I can't believe that Tom Holland, this like actually, this kid wouldn't be bullied by Flash Thompson. That Flash Thompson.
God, no.
Flash Thompson would be bullied by Tom Holland. It'd be the other way around. It's so shit, that movie.
Yeah. If they're gonna do it properly, is my thinking. But Marvel refused to. Even like Venom, it's Sony. It might be Sony as well, because that new Venom film's got like Lasher and Phage and that, and they're all just in name only.
Mate, I was watching like a 2-minute video on YouTube with like classic suits in the MCU, and of course it's only 2 minutes long. But in Agents of Shield they had Deathlock.
Oh yeah.
But the only time he had a classic suit was when they used like this detective mode, and in the detective mode he looks like how he does in the comics.
Oh.
Even though he's got that like weird sort of holographic look to him.
You love referencing it, but not going all in. Like in Luke Cage, where he goes, I look stupid.
I look like a damn fool. It's like, no, you don't. Leave it on.
Yeah.
Or like
Daredevil only wears a suit for season 2.
Yeah, but even in the Hulk movie, The Incredible Hulk, where Betty gives him orange pants, and he's like, no. And they hold the pose for 30 seconds. Like, he's just standing there going, no, I can't. No, I can't. It's like, where the fucking pants? You're going to destroy them. What? A man who goes through about 20 pairs of pants a day cannot be picky about what pants he wears. I can't believe I'm getting this heated over Hulk's pants.
No, because they know they're making movies for comic enjoyers. And then they turn around and going, "You're stupid for liking this. Nothing's
You're a
genuine
goofy
anymore."
son of a bitch.
Yeah, like, "Oh, I bet you love Batman's underwear, don't you?" It's like, shut up, you
It's
look
like
cool.
it's like if I was Betty, I'd be like, "Who do you think you are to say no to me buying you pants when you rip every single pair you've got?"
Literally. What would you
It's
prefer?
like a homeless
Yellow
guy.
spandex, and then the second he's in the suit, everyone loves the Wolverine suit.
It's like a homeless guy getting change, and he's like, "Hang on a second, I only
Only
accept
ten
gold coins."
dollars. Yeah,
It's like you don't get to be picky, mate. The amount of fucking clothes you rip through is insane. Literally, the next
speaking
day,
of
I'm pretty sure he turns into the Hulk, anyways.
speaking of ripping through, this episode would have been pulled post 9/11 because a helicopter crashes into a building. And did you hear what Spider-Man says when it
What does he
crashes
say?
into the building? Spider-Man goes, "Good thing nobody has moved into this building yet."
Oh, is that the Twin Towers?
No, but it's like, close one. No one got injured. Don't worry, censors. Don't worry, Fox kids.
Oh
No
yeah,
one got
yeah.
injured here.
This wasn't a terrorist attack, we promise.
There's a
I did make
scene
a
as
note.
well. It's like, there's a scene in the very first episode of the X-Men animated series where Beast gets electric shocked from a fence. And then when he lands,
That's when he
he's
gets
breathing
captured,
so heavily. Yeah, he gets captured. And he's breathing so heavily. So oh, he's still alive. Like, he
even though
doesn't
they
just
killed
go,
Morph in the
ugh.
same episode.
Yeah. But, like, the way Beast is animated, he's breathing well too quick and too much. It's clearly
If
just so the
anything,
kids know he's okay.
but if anything, him breathing that much is probably more of a worse sign than if he wasn't.
Now it's like, why does he need so much? Like, is his heart okay?
Does he have like a dog heart? Is this like when Heartless takes Blockbuster's heart in the Nightwing series, and Nightwing's like, "You moron, that's a fucking gorilla heart."
I'm only up to
And he's
talk.
like, but he's like, "Wait, what?" But even in speaking of senses, one of my notes is saying like, Spider-Man finally threw a punch, and it was to the Chameleon's dick. The
I
one
gotta.
time.
Does he get him in the knob? Did he
Well,
punch
he
him in the dick?
punches the belt, but it's like close
Oh,
enough.
nice.
But it's funny how like the one time he throws a punch is just right there, you know. It's like he probably in the order of the timeline, he probably just finished beating Venom and Hobgoblin without throwing a single punch. But
Doesn't
then
need to,
against the
mate.
Chameleon, he just straight there.
Too powerful. I got put down. Spidey can't throw a punch, but Mary Jane can throw a slap.
Yeah,
Like, what's the
bit of double
difference?
standards.
You can show
My note
that.
was ouch, you're in the doghouse now, dude.
Sick.
That's all I could
Did you
think of.
notice Chameleon? When they think Nick Fury might be Chameleon, but they're not positive, he's like got his hand on his gun in his pants. That sounds wrong, but you know what I mean. But it's a real gun. It's not like a laser or like a spike ball shooter. It's a real
But,
fucking revolver in his pocket.
but the best part was probably, funnily enough, at the end of the episode during the credits, when it says like up
When it was
next.
finally over.
Yeah, I mean
Yes.
that too. But when it goes like up next, and it says the Insidious Six, and I was like, oh my god,
Oh,
the
insidious, dude.
the king of censorships, the Insidious Six.
Fox Kids, mate. Over in X-Men, you've got Mr. Sinister as a main bad guy, but you can't call them the Sinister Six because it's too mean.
But even like, where was the Superman show aired on? Was it Fox as well?
Kids WB
So they had a better they had better guidelines, I'm guessing, because
must have.
because like I was watching the Apocalypse episode today. I had a
We're
bit of a
done
Superman
tapping.
marathon. Yeah.
Nah.
When Jack Kirby himself bites the dust.
Yeah.
But it's like that episode, a kid's show, ends with an icon of Metropolis literally getting disintegrated. Whereas if this was in the Spidey show, I don't even know what they would do instead. Maybe like Darkseid buys him a ticket to Hawaii and you never see Jameson again or something like that.
It'd be like Final Crisis, where the Omega Beams send them back in time instead of killing them. But as we were discussing the other day, you got Dan Turpin dying in Superman. You've got the fella getting lethally. You get a fella gets the electric chair in the late. Does he get gas?
Yeah, instead
That's
of
worse.
electrocuting
That's
them,
grimmer. I'd rather get shocked.
Even like
At the end.
historically, that's a bit more like iffy, you know?
Yeah, like at the end of the late Mr. Kent or the late Clark Kent, whatever it was,
Yeah, it's such a good
a
episode.
man gets executed on screen. In Mad as a Hatter in Batman the Animated Series, they get reported of potential, they say the word suicide when Hatter has two fellas jump off a bridge. And this is all fine.
In World's Finest Part 3, when Batman's like, you take Quinn, and then Superman, you take Lex, or whatever the fuck, and then because Joker has his parachutes, and then when the ship turns to its side and Joker falls to the corner, he sees his like explosive gumballs just rolling towards his face, and the guy starts laughing. All you see is just this giant ship exploding, and you hear this like maniac laughing throughout the entire thing. But I love, like I said to you, I love when Harley's like, Puddin', and then Batman smiles and goes, well, he probably is now.
Mate. I remember seeing the restrictions for Batman the Animated Series ages ago, and it was like, you can't have shattered glass, you can't have choking, and you can't have nudity or smoking. That rhymed. But there's a bit in, what is it? They have like domestic abuse in Batman the Animated Series and everything.
They have blood. They have
the one where Harley traps Batman and he has a call the Joker.
Yeah.
And the one with Rev Up Your Harley. He beats the shit out of Harley.
He pushes it out of the window.
Yeah. So it's like, what would Spider-Man do with that?
But like Joker's like trying to say no hard feelings to Batman.
It's like, just get out of here. Yeah. We'll pick this up later.
But even like, you can't have glass shattering, but you can have an explosion every single episode.
The restrictions do hinder this show.
It's just funny that like for the animated series for Batman, how, like you said, no glass shattering, but I think at least several times there's a bomb.
It's got it, yeah. Glass does shatter. I remember specific bits where glass shatters in Batman the Animated Series.
With those DC animated shows and explosions, because they love to do them all the time.
Might just make a nice scene transition.
But even it's like, did they just enjoy animating the smoke or something? Because it was so unnecessary half the time. Even when like Metallo when he's when they introduce Steel in the show, and he's sort of just standing there while the police have to try to evade this man just in the middle of the street. And then these cars just collide, massive fucking explosion. It's like these guys can't help themselves. Every chance they get, something's gonna go boom.
Even in the Clock King episode, the clock falls apart at the end, and there's like,
does the clock
explode? The trains, like, he makes trains collide to prove that the mayor's shit at his job. There's a big explosion.
I think now would be a good time to talk about, I guess, the elephant in the room when it comes to this episode, The Day of the Chameleon. And that's that everyone in this episode, not a single person is excluded from this. Everyone is so unbelievably brain dead.
Absolutely. The tell of what makes him the chameleon is blatantly obvious right in front of everyone's face.
This giant
no one thinks
brown,
just look for the belt.
A giant brown blue belt with a massive screen on it. And for some reason, every single person turns so monumentally thick whenever they're trying to find the chameleon.
There was one part where the chameleon was disguised as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And he's cornered between Spider-Man and real agents. And he throws a smoke bomb and then turns into someone else. He doesn't actually move. He just transforms under cover of smoke. and all the agents like, oh, where'd he go?
But even if I remember correctly, doesn't Spidey also have the chameleon when he's disguised as her? And then they're like, "Why is Spider-Man attacking our agent?" And
Yeah,
he's like, "It's the chameleon," and they don't believe him. For some reason, they don't believe him. When you can clearly see her belt it's at the front. It's literally there. The design wasn't covering it. It's clear as day, mate.
he should have just webbed them as well. There's a part where Chameleon's Gloria Grant and
Yeah,
Spidey's got her by the hand, and if he'd have just webbed them up, he couldn't have
but
escaped
also,
because he smashes
where's
glass
his
in.
spider sense?
Yeah, non-existent.
You tell me
He
that he's just
senses
gonna let.
Robbie. He senses Robbie, doesn't he? When
Yeah, he
Robbie's the
senses
chameleon.
Chameleon just sitting there, but he doesn't sense Chameleon about to attack him with like sleeping gas.
Crazy, mate.
It's
What
so
did you think
bad.
of Jonah through the episode? He was like
He
the
played
key
a less
part.
annoying role than like before. Like
He
he
was
was
the main
almost
man,
like
wasn't
he was acting human for once.
he? Yeah,
Although
he
he
was
had to have that
terrifying.
one moment, wasn't he, where he was like, "I knew Spider-Man was an evil guy," and it's like, "Shut the
Yeah,
fuck up!" Like,
terrifying. At least Spider like gets him back at the end, where he was
does he
like,
have
"You're
like a
crap
form of
reporting."
Tourette's? Does he have like a
Jonah
thing
Yenis
where Spidey just constantly every time Spidey's there, Jonah has to go, "He's a menace! He's a menace!" It's like, is it like a trigger for him?
triggers defo, dude. Got him
It's
at the
I feel like
start.
that's Jameson's angle for a slander piece. Spidey belittles publisher with, with
That'd be now, wouldn't it? The headline: Spider-Man triggers me. At the very
front page.
start, when he gets taken up to the helicarrier, which I'm not being funny. What the hell was this design for the helicarrier?
It
It
was
was such a
so ugly.
mess. Yeah, it's like,
It was
what the
so
hell am I
bad.
looking at here? It was like
It
it
looks
wanted
like
to be like a city, but just
it looks like Jack Kirby's design of fucking Asgard,
yeah, mate. It was
where he
new
just went
gods.
wild with like the fucking paneling everywhere, and we're like, I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna put this here, and then Stan would be
Oh,
like coming in, and then they have their little beef.
it
Unless
was
the panel
not
pals,
architecturally sound.
or like one of my biggest fears, if I was an agent, be like, what if, just what if everything fails within the helicarrier,
Yeah,
and we're falling to our death.
what then? And even if we all have parachutes, it's just gonna land on us because it's city side.
Yeah, but it's also like you're gonna destroy like probably the entirety of New York.
Yeah. Speaking
Did
of
you find?
9/11, mate.
Oh my god,
Whoa.
that can never be a good like continuation from that sentence.
Speaking of 9/11, funny you should say that. Because at 9/11,
One of my favorite holidays. It's like,
Shield
did
should
you think?
definitely
Yeah.
know that Peter is Spider-Man because they put him in a little cell and then he crawls up the wall and there's no way they don't have cameras on every inch of that bad boy.
But also the like he almost died.
Yeah, if he wasn't Spider-Man, he was dead because he
He was
opens the
pretty
vent.
calm as well. Like to the fact that if he hadn't gripped on last second, he had no web shooters. And even
Yeah,
if he
true.
did, the fall would have been so far to the point where his arms would have just ripped off. So he was like actually in a near death experience, and he was all like, "Whoa, gotta be more careful." Did you
Shattered
think Nick
dimensions again.
Fury? Did you think Nick Fury was too happy?
He was quite jovial for his job role, wasn't he? Like having banter, ripping
This like
into
war
people.
hero.
In the
he didn't
comics, he's
he didn't
immortal,
feel.
isn't he?
I haven't got into that part.
Oh,
What the
I'm pretty
fuck?
sure he's took like some special serum that makes him ageless.
I bet all the Shield agents just all like groaned at the same time when he said that in the meeting. And they realized that for the rest of their career here, this
He's
bastard's
in
gonna be
charge.
shouting at his face. It's gonna be us soon when Nick Lowe,
Oh,
comes out and says, "Yeah, I'm immortal now." He's like, "I'm forever gonna be the editor." But even like, he didn't even have like his classic white streaks in the hair. He didn't have his beard. or the stubble.
Yeah, he was clean.
He
They all
was
have beards
oddly
in this. Does anyone have a beard in this show?
no. They just keep it to the Hitler mustache.
Yeah.
That's as far as they go. We can't have a beard, but you can have this, you know, culturally
Trying to
fine
think.
mustache.
The closest they get is probably Felicia's dad.
I was just gonna say Felicia. If Felicia just has a full-on beard.
Oh, Craven. Craven had one. Okay.
That's how
Craven had a
forgettable
beard.
that episode was.
Yeah, we literally watched it last week as well. It's gone.
Yeah, like when people make fun of the chameleon, I feel like he should also be up there.
Definitely. In this
Like not
universe, absolutely.
in this uniform, like yeah, just in this one. The comics is fine, like he kicks ass, but you know.
I think I enjoyed this episode more than Craven, just because there's more going on. But I still
And
wouldn't
it
say it was an
expanded the
overall
universe.
enjoyable experience.
At
Yeah,
least it's not like
we got
Shield.
another. Is this our first? Like I said to you before we started, if it was a Shield story with Spider-Man more than a Spider-Man story with Shield. But is this our first interaction with another hero?
Well, the symbiote saga doesn't have Reed Richards for when they examine the
Nah,
suit because he
mates.
goes to Connors. Uh, Craven, no. I think it might be.
I believe so. And then I know
But,
season three's got Doctor Strange.
but where would you put this episode in your ranking?
Uh, Third last.
So would you go?
I think bottom barrel is Craven, which does hurt me to say because, as I've always said, he's one of my favourites in the books. Then I think the second Spider Slayer one,
That's a classic, mate.
the one where it was just robots, except for the
Yeah.
Jonah interactions, and then this.
Out of all the comics you got, who goes? Yeah, I'm gonna adapt the Spider Slayers for episode 2. You know, like by this time they probably had what, like 300, 400 issues.
Yeah, and they thought, who deserves the first double episode?
Spider Slayers. Spider Slayers was before, like, anyone. Like, it was before Doc Ock.
It must have been to sell toys. They must have already had the big spider toy design and thought, you know what?
Oh yeah, they could have done like those big play sets.
That's why Hobgoblin's before Green Goblin, because of the toys.
Because the action figures.
Yeah. So they must have thought, you know what, let's get these. And I like to think, one of them was a big scorpion. I like to think one of the designers who'd never read the comics went to John Sender and went, look, for your cartoon, the scorpion. And it was the big robot one from Spider Slayers. And John Sender was like, what the fuck is this?
Like, even speaking of just morons, I can't let go of the Shield agent. Like, just all of them. I can't let them go.
Yeah, like these are the peacekeeping task force, mate. These are the best of the best. Even the
It's
CIA and the
unbelievable.
FBI don't know about us.
Well,
Because they don't want to, mate.
they're like they're probably like that the coach's nephew or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Where
thinks
they're
the
just
dead boss because
there.
he plays the game and it's because
Yeah.
they're
It's
not as
like
good as they think.
we were talking about this beforehand, but how does Spidey recognize the fact that Chameleon's got the eye patch on the wrong side, but none of the Shield agents, including Agent 1, none of them
Yeah.
recognize it. He points
Spidey's
it out.
seen Nick Fury once in his life.
Yeah, but he points
And
it out.
then,
He goes, the eye patch is wrong.
yeah,
And
the
then
people who
Agent
work
1,
closely with Nick don't crack on.
but then Agent 1 still doesn't believe him until
Yeah,
Nick Fury's like, what's happening up there? I'm coming up
until
now.
he's on the radio, yeah.
What an
Ridiculous.
idiot!
Do you think she was
What
meant
the
to be
shit,
Sharon Carter or Black Widow or what?
I feel like more Black Widow, just because of the hair.
Yeah.
If
Carter's
this was
blonde and
made
she...
in if this was made in like the late 2000s during the Ultimate run, then I'd say maybe Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
Because wasn't she redhead in the Ultimate comics?
Oh, that was Carol Danvers, wasn't it? I'm thinking of.
In the
Was
Ultimate,
Carter in Ultimate? I remember
I
thinking
remember in the
because I don't.
game. Remember in the game she was redhead.
Oh yeah, that was her. Shit, you're right.
So I'm guessing during the time period of release, it's probably Black Widow.
Must have been
I was looking through some Daredevil issues I got recently, and one of them has where Daredevil slaps her ass.
a classic.
Yeah, you male.
And because of his superpowers, he doesn't have to put his finger to his nose to sniff it.
What do you think him and like Micah Sin were doing during this episode?
Well, oh, this was probably about halfway through the original Sin story arc, where it's revealed Micah was driving the truck that had the radioactive waste.
But even if we base it off like issue, because this was issue what? No, this was episode 13,
Yeah.
and if we base it off his comic series, he would have been in the midst of the Kazar story.
Oh,
The first appearance of the Plunderer.
mate.
Wasn't he like
Kazar's evil brother.
Yeah, his brother. Oh my god. Soon he's gonna have to deal with
Early
the
Daredevil's
Ox.
so wild.
Even just like the fact that the first appearance of Leapfrog is the first appearance of Mike Murdock. It just says so much about that whole era.
What a saga.
The Leapfrog. Imagine if in the She-Hulk show, even though it was shit. It's funny how Daredevil appeared in the Leapfrog episode. But could you imagine? It would have saved the entire show if he was Mike Murdock.
Yeah.
I think the mic just went out for a second.
Yeah, it did. It was me cutting. It explains the
Yeah.
suit, what happened to Karen, the lot.
How dare Comic Hour try to interrupt another episode?
What's your favourite Chameleon story then? Overall, even including games or movies?
I think I love that story where he's like literally on the verge of completely breaking down in the 90s.
Where he's locked up
Like,
in Ravencroft.
yeah, and he's like full on like he doesn't even know who he is. It's
Doesn't
a
he believe
fitting fate
himself to
for
be
a villain.
craven for? Yeah.
But even
It's
just for
like
someone as shit as him, it's like, yeah, you deserve that.
someone who spends his life becoming other people to lose his sense of self. How ironic.
And it's like he never really had a defining, I guess, personality, but then that story sort of established him as this crazed, almost, what's the word? He was burdened to have someone like Craven be his brother.
Yeah.
So at
Bullied
least you
him
sort of like
all his life.
understand him a bit.
Like why he wouldn't want to be himself.
Yeah, like
Again,
that.
like
You,
the
you get a
reason
bit
he
more
keeps.
backstory.
Yeah, he takes the form of other people because he'll do anything to not be him.
It's like it just added a bit more depth to him because before that he was sort of just one note. Like he was literally just Russian man who changes his face.
He loved the whole Russian villain angle back then, didn't he, mate? How many Crimson
Yeah,
Dynamos have we got?
it's because of the
Titanium Man.
Silver Age. In the Silver Age, when they couldn't think of a villain to use, Stanley would be like, well, which war is more relevant today? The Cold War or the... So he just used like, oh, are we fighting the Russians or the Vietnamese today? And then
He
whoever they
flips
were
his
like,
coin when he gets into the office.
yeah, so he'd be like, oh, today's the Vietnamese. Iron Man's gonna go to, to Asia and take down an entire gang there. Even like some of the early Avengers issues have them just fighting Russians.
Do you think it's funny how Spider-Man's got so many Russians?
Well, I mean, like, it sucks that he does have that sort of aspect to his stories occasionally, so it makes sense
Yeah.
in that way.
I still think that's dead stupid having his mum and dad be like super spy shield agents
Oh,
out
you
of
know what was the
nowhere.
worst retcon?
Go
It's
on.
even worse than the parents one. I
Go on.
completely ignore it. I don't even count it. It's when it might have been Chip Zdarsky, but did he introduce his sister?
Yeah. It's
That is
family
dog shit.
business. Had Teresa Parker, so he's apparently had a sister the whole time as well.
But then wasn't there like at the end? It's like, oh, you don't know if she's actually his sister.
Yeah. And then
But then
she
she's
come
like,
back.
I'd rather not find out.
I think she does say that, but they do find out that she actually was in Nick Spencer's run, which had the Chameleon conspiracy,
I've
where
blocked that.
the
Anything
question
with her in it.
was, yeah, the question was, is she actually his sister or is she a chameleon planted in his life?
It's
And like,
so
I don't
dog
think we
shit.
got a definitive answer, and she's vanished again now.
Yeah,
You didn't
we
kill her
never got
off.
a definitive answer because even like Nick was probably like, "This is shit."
Some like, listen, his run was the peak that we've had in like 20 years, but maybe not 20. But between Slott and Wells, he's definitely the best, most recent writer. But some of his as well is a bit slow and bad. Like his 2099 one, where like his roommate or his science classmate invents a time machine out of nowhere, and then Miguel needs it stopped, and it's like, what is happening?
His stuff peaks at like the Peter and Mary Jane aspect. Like that's
Yeah,
what. If it wasn't for that, it'd be a completely different situation.
yeah. If it was the exact same, but Peter was with Shay, it would be looked back on less fondly. But the
It would
fact
just
that
be
we at
more
least had a
painfully
chance back
average.
then, yeah. And as I
Although,
say, I enjoyed the run at the time because obviously it was we were back for a minute there. There was
like,
hope
even
again.
like some like a bit cringy, more modern romance scenes in the books, like when was MJ in LA
Oh, and
because
they're
she
on the
was being
phone and they start
yeah,
public
yeah,
dancing. Yeah, it's like,
yeah. That was a bit
okay,
like
dude.
it's like okay, I'm happy they're back, but fucking get a room.
Yeah, this is it.
No
Like, I
one
don't
does
do
that.
that. People, no one, exactly. No one does that.
It's like it's funny because these writers aren't that old. They're not like 70 years old. They should know what people do and not do. That's like it's like they're like, "Hey, we know internet. Do you know the internet? It's cool. It's hip."
Like in issue 61, where Peter says someone's the Timu version of whatever the hell.
Yeah, I can't believe he says this to Doom's face. Considering when Doom like appeared in that page, he
Yeah.
says like, "Oh, I pissed myself." And then he tells him to piss off. It's like, no, you can't do two pisses like that. They don't work. You can't do piss scared plus piss angry. It just doesn't go together.
Yeah, they won't mix and match.
It's like, yeah, how can you say my bladder released and then go, you're just a Temu Doctor Strange. Piss off.
Suddenly the
But
penguin.
also,
Piss off.
Joe, but also Joe Kelly messed up the entire joke because he says you're the Temu Doctor Strange knockoff.
Yeah, you don't need knock.
The yeah, the
It's an
Temu is the
oxymoron.
knockoff part.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Temu is the knockoff. You don't need that. Like these writers are so out of the loop. It's insane.
Exactly.
I
This
can't wait for the
says
next
Nick
20 years.
Spencer's 57.
Wait, this is even what's how old Joe Kelly?
Joe
But I can't
Kelly,
wait in like 20
writer,
years
H.
when Peter's like bouncing back between another woman and MJ,
And he's
and then
back
the woman's
living
gonna
at
say,
Maze.
but then May's gonna say, Peter, your riz is lacking big time, and then
But like they treat it like a proper existential like crisis. It's like she's right. I do
he
lack Riz.
he goes up to Spider Boy, who for some reason still 9 years old and alive, and he goes, "Is my riz lacking?" And then
Spider-Man just goes, skibbity.
yeah, and he's like, "No, truer words have never been said."
Marvel is back with this latest issues.
We're
Joe
gonna be
Kelly's
like,
53.
oh, it makes so much sense. We're gonna be like in our deathbeds and still making these videos and be like, Marvel's back. Peter, Mary Jane. They should have just
They're
really
still
ended
not
it.
married, but they are together.
We actually won't die until they get married again. That's the trick to being immortal.
In like the real 2099. We're like, what are Marvel going to do when it gets to 2099? They can't just change it. This is why I think DC was smart by just putting beyond.
Yeah, because they don't actually have a set time. You can just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I mean, by 2099, who even knows if Marvel's gonna be a thing? I feel like they're gonna self-implode in the next 10 years.
I feel like everything will be Disney. Like even like your personal house will have the ears.
Your license.
The whole planet Earth will have the mouse
Mouse.
ears because we are Planet Disney after they bought the rights.
When like two cops come to your door to like investigate, they'll have to use that Disney one to say, "We are the Disney police," and your son is wanted for heroin.
Every single death on planet Earth is not investigated because we all had the subscription to Disney Plus, and it says that if Disney wishes you to die, you got to.
And it's like Peter and MJ aren't married because Peter can't afford Disney Plus. So MJ's like, I'm not gonna marry you. Paul's subscribed on several accounts.
Yeah. Paul Mouse. Has he got a surname? Is it Raven?
Yeah, I think it's just that. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't even feel like he has anything going for him besides the fact that his name is Paul.
I would have. What if Mary Jane bins off Paul and gets with Wreck Pa or whatever, however the hell you say it?
Wreck Rap.
Wreck Rap.
It's just Wreck Rap. That'd be
Best of both worlds. She's with a Spider-Man, and
that'd be the biggest plot. I mean, he's alive for some reason. Zeb Wells brought him back
and like forced Joe Kelly to
Joe
use him as an
Kelly. Yeah?
saying
You
like,
don't
"Oh, you
think
got me
Wreck
now."
Rap's gonna play a vital role in this, do you?
I don't think he'll even be referenced. I reckon it was all a joke.
He's either not gonna be referenced or he's gonna save the day. Like there's gonna be no in between.
I was gonna say then he'll probably like take the bullets at the end meant for Peter, but he's already done that when he took the glider.
Yeah, but maybe this time because it's like a Sidorak thing, it's that powerful he actually stays dead.
Oh yeah, because they're like he's like a demon, isn't he?
So it's like demon versus demon.
Yeah, it's like magic versus magic, and as we all know, magic must defeat magic.
Did you read Ultimate Spider-Man issue 11?
I did.
Oh, you sent me the image. Yeah. Did you? Wait, did you? Were you happy to see Freaky Peter and MJ being back?
Yeah, you know.
It's a classic part of their relationship.
That is, yeah, mate. Like they've got what 10 minutes. The only thing I thought was funny was she goes like, "No, the kids aren't in. They had something after school." But the establishing shot looks like it's like 12 at night. Yeah, it's like, how long for? What are they doing? I suppose it is winter.
You could have just said like sleepover. You know, they had a sleepover party or some shit like that.
Yeah, they're in bed. Like,
no, Peter, they're roaming the streets.
They're out looking for you, Peter.
They're playing. If the writer's trying to be hip, it'd be like they're playing Pokemon Go. That hip game that came out like totally not 20 years ago. Pokemon Go.
It's like The Simpsons, isn't it? Where
Yeah,
they'll wait
yeah.
10 years before making a relevant episode. They'll like parody Twilight a decade and a half after Twilight was relevant.
That's what I like especially in the. Well, I've been watching Superman, so it's more fresh in my head.
Oh
But in
yeah.
the Superman animated series, you're not really able to tell when it's set.
I know exactly what you mean. And that's one of the best bits about the Batman one as well. Because it's
But
just
also, it's
all the
beautiful though.
technology. It looks like a simpler time that I'd much rather be living in.
The Art Deco in Superman animated series, like the whole Metropolis style, is
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's like
Com-
retro futuristic, in it? Like
yeah,
it's what the planet should have been when
Art
technology got
Deco
there.
is Art Deco style is perfect for Metropolis, and almost like Gothic Art Deco style is perfect for Gotham.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
Gotham! Now I get it. Wondering about all
the
those
city's
gargoyles.
the city's always moody. It's the city's constantly it's stuck in a
All this
phase.
crime, it's like the city's cutting itself.
You think like whenever like they're talking about the crime, they go, "The city's just in a bad phase right now. I'm sure I'll snap out of it."
The city's disappearing forever. Oh, it's back.
The city lied. It just really wanted attention.
It just wants an attention. There's something very nerdy, very niche that I caught onto in this episode of Chameleon. At one point at the beginning, he steals a helicopter and he crashes it into this weird like bridge connecting two buildings and loses the tail. And the exact same thing happens, a helicopter crash in the Ultimate Spider-Man video game in like the third Venom level when Silver Sable's chasing you.
Oh yeah,
It's like
yeah.
the
You have to save the
exact
guy.
same part of the city. A helicopter crashes into it and spins out. And I was like, oh, it's funny how it
Is that
happened in two
when?
different Spider-Man things.
Is that the guy who's voiced by John DiMaggio that you have to save, or is it someone else?
No, no, this is in a Venom level where like you get
Oh, in the
confronted
Venom one.
by the Wild Pack after
Oh
the
yeah,
Silver
yeah.
Sable boss fight as Venom, and you're running through the city to escape. You like hit the exact same building with a helicopter. And I just
I
remember
love
thinking,
when
that's funny.
in one of the Sable missions when Venom almost like basketball dribbles her. That's like the best way I can explain it. Like I don't understand how he does it,
Yeah.
but she's like flopping on the floor, and he's almost like juggling her with his legs and hands.
Oh.
He fucking smacks her against the concrete floor and picks her up. Oh, the
Sick,
game is
mate.
so good.
What a game, mate. That whole final, like from when Peter gets tranquilized until the end, what a ride.
I love that. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And the fact that like he had enough to take down like a very large horse, and
Yeah.
it didn't actually affect him really.
Yeah. He still takes down Sable without his web shooters, hunts down Venom, and then beats Venom. Because he actually like knocks him out. He wins before
And
the
that's what sets
tranquilizers
up the
take effect.
carnage.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Incredible, mate.
can't
When
wait
are we
for
doing that
the
game?
carnage mission though for Shattered Dimensions.
Oh yeah. Horrifying.
We got Shattered Dimensions and we got Edge of Time.
Yeah. Set
And
up,
then
ready to go.
well the way I'm thinking about it is more of like, oh, I have to plug in and unplug my 360 if I want to play like PS2.
Yeah.
So if we can get if we can get the Xbox 360 games done, and then we can go straight to the PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah. Back in time.
Like maybe we can do like Shattered Dimensions, Edge of Time, maybe Web of Shadows,
Yeah,
and
I'd
then we
call
go to
them like a
PS2.
weird unofficial trilogy. They've got the same collection jingle.
But also, I don't know if you want to do it, but I'm fine with skipping friend or foe. I'm I
Yeah.
can live
I've
with
never
that.
I have played it when it come out and my cousins. So
Mate, I don't want to get carpal tunnel from playing that shit.
Do you want to smash out friend or foe right now? The only thing I found weird was the lizard isn't a boss fight, and he is a huge lizard, but he's like sound. And what
Are
else?
the black cats in it?
Black Cat's in it.
And she's like, do you want to team up? He's like, okay.
It's very Sam Raimi movie, while also not being all the designs
It's so
Sam
weird.
Raimi.
Yeah, it's got the designs of Sam Raimi, and it's like, in the opening cutscene, Harry acts like it's normal to see his dead father flying around on his glider.
You never actually save Harry either. Mysterio, the
It's
final
just
boss, and then Harry's just never mentioned again. He got took at the beginning, but we forgot about him.
two games that have Mysterio as the final boss.
Mate, not counting the Game Boy Advance's Menace of Mysterio game.
Even Shattered Dimensions.
Shattered Dimensions as like the he's sick.
I do love how it's like Miguel has his sort of diving moment, Noir has his stealth moment, Amazing is just boring as fuck. It's like they all have their like special sort of thing.
Yeah, he is just standard Spidey for it, isn't he?
Even I commented on a episode just
Oh yeah.
boring.
And there's someone commented back, I believe.
No, I wonder who.
Oh, weapon.
Did you like MJ being an actress again finally? Because last time she was a model, but this has the best of both worlds.
I remember her mentioning she was in drama class. I don't remember actually saying I'm an actress.
It was nice though to see her do a play for once.
Yeah. Are
Because we
you
don't get
glad
that.
to
Like,
hear it? I like how the dialogue of the play was about how Hair Fellow was so cold-hearted and how she wouldn't have expected this from him. And it played
and
well
she's
with
like,
what was happening with
she
Peter.
uses it for her performance. Mate,
Good
I feel
stuff.
like the because I had to set up in the lounge because if you don't know, it's 30 degrees at night here in Australia. So I have the TV running, and I'm pretty sure they're showing a movie with The Rock, but it has the guy who plays Gladiator from Daredevil. I saw like 2 seconds, and I'm like, that
Yeah.
has to be the guy.
Melvin Potter himself, dude. Jumanji.
I hate the fact he didn't even. He's like, oh, you want Gladiator? Oh, look at him use these wrist blades for 2 seconds.
Look, you can see the stilt in the background.
It's like, you won't get the double D, but we'll go to the effort to make actual comic accurate Stiltman legs.
Mate, back in the
For a
day, you
prop.
just get a license plate saying like ASM 132.
DD number 8.
Yeah. Matt Gerald is the Gladiator. Let's see what he's been in. Film of right.
He
Looking
actually
at it.
looks good.
Terminator 3.
No way.
Yeah, mate. Rise of the Machines.
He was in Marvel one-shot All Hail the King with the Mandarin.
Ooh.
It's the movie
I remember
Faster, I
that.
think.
He
The
was in
Faster movie
Dexter.
with
Faster.
The Rock. That's the one that's on right now on the shitty Samsung TV.
Rampage had The Rock as well, didn't it? Because he was like a big gorilla.
Yeah. He was in Ant-Man.
White Power
Gladiator.
Day. Okay.
And Bright.
This is funny. In 2010, he was in something called Elektra Lux, and obviously Elektra is Daredevil's lady.
What about Choke?
Choke.
Mate, when are we on the panel pals going to look at Punisher from the 80s?
Ooh.
That movie?
The one with
Dolph Lundgren. Yeah, we're going to look at that one.
Yeah.
The guy had a permanent, like, 5 o'clock shadow. It never changed. I've never seen it, but I oddly want to.
Oh yeah, in '89, Dolph Lundgren, mate. He's a weapon.
You know what'd be great torture for us?
Oh, go on.
if we watch the Captain America movie from the 90s,
The one with evil Spider-Man.
the one with the
The
rubber
rubber.
suit.
Oh, the rubber. Oh, yeah. Is that the one where they had Spider-Man, but he was a baddie?
No, this is the Red Skull. Captain
Oh,
America 1990.
1990.
You gotta look at that shit. It's
Overall,
crazy.
dude, 3.2 stars out of 10.
Look
I
at the
think I've seen
costume.
bits of
It's
this. He's got a
literally
motorbike.
rubber, mate. Now that's Captain America.
Oh. Overall, dude, eventually I want to cover everything. Like, even the 70s live action Spider-Man.
Oh my god! All I remember was like Nicholas Hammond just on a swing,
Yeah.
just going back and forth.
Mate, it had
What was
Jonah
with like,
Jameson, it had Gloria,
but
it had
the
May in
weird
episode
lenses
1.
he had.
Realism, dude. But before the
It's
MCU.
why did the Japanese Spider-Man have like an actual mask, whereas this one had like weird sort of. I don't even know how to describe it.
Because the Japanese Spider-Man, mate, is the chosen one.
I do
Have you
think how
ever
it's.
sat down and watched that?
Isn't it just funny how they gave the Asian Spider-Man squinty eyes?
Yeah.
What did they mean by that? Like, what was?
What were they playing? Have you seen that scene in the 70s one where he's fighting like judo masters with wooden swords? It's jumping around.
I've only seen like vaguely. No, I can
Oh,
remember like
mate.
just a still image in my head.
It's boss. You can see like the web shooters, you can see the belt. Masterpiece.
I bet if you threw him in the animated series with that exact costume, Agents of Shield still couldn't like pick who's the real
Couldn't have
Spidey.
took him. I wanted him in Spider in what you call No Way Home. How'd you have all the live action Spideys except the original Nick Hammond?
Could you imagine him like fighting Green Goblin the way Tom Holland did?
Well, that's
That'd be
what the crazy
crazy.
thing is. This guy had no supervillains. He only fights like extortionists or like the Yakuza.
And he always looks terrified at he like climbing the wall.
Yeah, he probably was. He's dead gingerly, like, oh shit. Remember, like in Batman 66, when they just turned the camera sideways?
Yeah, the cape was so oddly stiff with a wire going through. You could
Yeah.
like, it was the most obvious wire. They didn't even put the effort in to at least attach two different ones to make it look like the cape was properly in the air. It was just one going through the middle.
And then in this, they actually had him climb a wall with like the harness. He was bricking
He
it.
was
Did you ever
he was
see?
he wasn't even touching the wall.
Did you ever see the fan film Return of the? What was it? Revenge of the Green Goblin
I've
or
seen
Green
like a
Goblin's
clip on
Last
Twitter
Stand? Or is it where
where
he
he's like
swings
screaming.
the balls on that fella, mate? Oh, is
The
that still on
costume.
YouTube?
I need to get it up quickly.
I'm gonna check.
Have you seen the Grayson fan film trailer from 2004?
Oh, is it any good?
It's weird. Like it feels like an X-rated film, but at the same time, it's not. Like the guy who plays
Last Stand, it was. Green Goblin's Last Stand.
10 years
God,
ago.
the guy who plays.
The guy who plays Dick Grayson looks horrible for the role, but everyone else is like actually pretty decent. I got the last stand up here. I'm just looking. I'm skimming through it.
Dan Poole, his name is. And he actually had to swing from building to building without a
No
harness
way.
for one of the shots. And he actually done it hardcore, mate.
The real Spider-Man.
We need to do an episode
they all
on
look
this,
pretty
mate.
good though. Like for who they're playing, as I'm skimming through, they all look
Yeah.
serviceable. I'm trying to get to a swinging scene.
Like back in the day, mate, because it says it was uploaded 10 years ago, but I'm pretty sure It's well
This looks
older.
90s. My God, he's full on jumping and leaping through each building.
Yeah. Have a bit of that, Lotus. No
Oh my God,
CGI here.
he's actually made the costume's sick. My God, they've full on got like the massive eyes. But why is it silver for? This shows the
There's some,
importance of a face shell.
yeah, yeah. Even like just look at Spiderman, and you'll see you should probably have a face shell.
That goblin mask is horrific. Could you imagine that in the Raimi films?
This here says Green Goblin's Last Stand 30-year anniversary. So
Yes, so it's like properly in the 80s or
it
90s.
is old, mate. I'm sure that goblin mask's from Goosebumps as well.
We have to do one on that and Batman Beyond.
Oh, that Batman Beyond one was sick, dude. Definitely.
I love even the fact that Terry McGinnis's like normal outfit was just like the one in the
Yeah,
show.
spot on.
Yeah, because you best believe if they ever do a movie of him, there's no way he's gonna wear that.
Nah.
They'd rather have him go, "This jacket looks stupid," and then throw it away. So, what do you think of Day of the Chameleon overall? You know, as a Spidey fan, as a panel pal, what did you
Oh,
think?
well, a distinguished member of the panel pals. We should
It's a
start
high
opening with
club.
we should start opening every video with welcome back panel pals.
Yeah.
Make it a group thing.
It's like it's an exclusive club.
Where'd you get the new subscription? It's an exclusive club. Overall, as I've said, didn't feel very Spider-Man. Felt more like a Shield episode it felt more like a Marvel team up than a Amazing Spider-Man issue. But
Yeah.
could have been worse. I can't think of any incredible quotes, like my favorite line. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, for quotes, uh, God, what did he say that was funny? I guess if we excuse how stupid he was for not detecting the smoke Chameleon had or the gas,
Yeah.
I didn't mind when he's like talking about the dangers of secondhand smoke.
Yeah, this guy's ruining my lungs faster than secondhand smoke. I thought it was funny when Jonah was on his way to his tailor's with Peter in the car, and suddenly the car turns into like a rocket ship, and Peter goes like, "What's going on? Did you not pay your last tailor bill?" I do
Jameson didn't even acknowledge him.
Yeah,
That's how you know he was angry.
I think one of the things I liked about it, I like the idea of Chameleon himself not speaking. Like it
He doesn't
adds
talk, does
a
he?
bit more mystery to him, makes him creepier. He only
It
speaks when
adds
he's
to that
in
like
disguise. He
it
uses
adds
other
to like
people's voices.
you really don't know who he is when he's not
Yeah, he could be
in
anyone.
disguise.
It makes me think there is no actual chameleon. Like he's got no secret identity. This is
He's
all he
just
does.
yeah,
He's
like the
not so much a
chameleon's
man.
almost his
He's
real
more
thing.
just a threat.
Yeah, like the chameleon's his real identity.
Yeah, he's not going to have a day off. All this man does is hurt. Like he's never just relaxing
What
at
a
home.
waste of such a cool, piece of
It's a good
technology, though.
idea, isn't it? Yeah.
But he could be doing
Give it to
anything.
this guy. Chameleon's going to come back pretty soon as well. Oh, he would have been back to back, wouldn't he? If it goes Chameleon, then Insidious 6. That's like
one of the most dangerous foes.
the Chameleon trilogy. But we've done it out of sync, so
Yeah, because it's that shit. Could you imagine if we actually ended it?
Mate, what a grand finale. We've got the Cravenoff brothers out the way now, so we're all good.
But even just like to end season 1 of such a good Spidey show. Who thought, yeah, let's do Chameleon?
Blows me mind, man. Like you've just done Venom and Hobgoblin, and to top it off, you're going to use the Chameleon. And I personally, I'm not a big fan. He might be one of my least favorite Spider-Man villains.
Yeah,
I
easily.
think he'd do better being like a Captain America bad guy.
I'd rather Man-Ball.
Yeah, at least Mambo would be like a physical challenge.
Yeah, yeah. Is it that truck, doesn't he? That massive truck.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure
mean, I know.
I'm sure there is people who love Chameleon and think he's dead interesting and boss. I can't get past the fact that every single living member of the Parker family in the comics have defeated him, including Aunt May, who poisons him with cookies.
He's a joke, mate. He's
Yeah,
so shit.
to me, definitely he's a joke.
But we'll get to it in like the season 1 tier list if we ever do that. But
Yeah,
it's like,
we'll do an after party for the
but
season ending after Hobgoblin.
what I would say in that episode would be like season 1 had some amazing villains, but then it just had a couple of stinkers that no one really asked for.
Yeah,
Like when you look
Spider
at season
Slayer's
1, you
so
got
early.
Venom, you got Hobgoblin, you got Craven, which was shit. You got Doc Ock, Scorpion, Mysterio. But then it's like, who asked for Spider Slays and Chameleon?
Yeah, it's funny as well because, especially in the sense of Venom and Hobgoblin, they're appearing awfully early for a Spider-Man story. Because in the comics, these guys were like
80s and
decades
90s.
after Scorpion and Doctor Octopus, and that Hobgoblin and Venom were ages afterwards
Yeah,
in like the
well,
200s or
yeah,
300s. If
one
you
was
well
in the
299
80s,
if you
and
Venom.
then Venom was late 80s, wasn't he? He was in like 88.
Yeah, so it's
So yeah,
like,
it's weird of a jump. I mean,
but with
it's
this
hard
being
because,
Venom's first ever appearance in something other than comics, they kind of did want to build up to him, and they do an okay job of it, as we'll see next time.
well, I mean, their way's almost the definitive way now moving forward, which
Nowadays, yeah,
I
it
mean,
adds
I
so
think
much.
it's. I sort of wish that it wasn't as influential
It
because
definitely made
now,
a big change than what it
yeah, because
was.
now we're never gonna get a symbiote that's just like feeding off him. Like now, he's always gonna have a symbiote that's gonna make him angry,
Yeah, they're always making him evil with it.
and then now it's always gonna be Doc Connors who does like the research for him.
Yeah, in this and the movie, it
Yeah,
said to
even
him
in
because they don't have the
Spectacular
rights.
Spider-Man,
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Forgot about that. It goes to it of all people on the planet. It goes to him.
they don't even form that like. Well, they never actually properly did the friendship that they have in the comics, do they?
No, he just works
Nothing
for him.
properly explores it. You got this one. I don't even remember. Does Lizard appear again in this show?
Yeah, but not until like 3 seasons in.
But him and Spidey aren't mates.
No, actually, it's like Connor's only. I don't think he appears again until he goes to him with the symbiote. Actually,
In Spectacular Spider-Man, he's not really friends with Spidey as well.
true. He just
I
works
can't
for him.
remember.
Yeah,
Well, even he
him and
seems like
Gwen
he doesn't
just.
even like him sometimes.
Yeah.
And then you got Ultimate Spider-Man, where he worked for Shield.
Yes.
Didn't he have both arms? I can't remember if he did or not.
No way. That's like his defining thing.
I can't remember. I remember like Spidey goes for a handshake and he like tries to shake the wrong arm. And he's like, oh, awkward.
That's the reveal, mate. Whoa.
But I couldn't remember if like afterwards he had both arms in. I haven't watched that in so long. But
Do you
again,
remember?
in that they weren't mates really.
No,
So it's
they
like they
certainly
never
weren't
properly did it.
in the new animated series. They certainly weren't, mate. Remember Connor's in that?
In the
Psycho.
2017 show.
No, in the Neil Patrick Harris one.
Oh yeah, yeah. He
Yeah,
was dodgy all around.
he was voiced by Rob Zombie. He got his arm blown off in like a pumpkin bomb test. They say that's why he goes to Oscorp, because that's how he lost his arm in like designing pumpkin bombs that Norman would use in the movie.
We gotta watch that show. It sounds way more interesting than what we're looking at now.
Well, it's relative, isn't it? Like compared to Chameleon, certainly.
I mean, like we did say after season 1 of this show, we'll take like a mini break to go to
Yeah,
the
we'll
new
go and do
animated
that one,
series.
and yeah, and then we'll come back because this is was it 6 seasons long?
We're gonna be so we're gonna be like
Again,
10 years into it by the time we finish it.
what a, what about like we're doing all the Venoms together, we're doing all the Hobgoblins, and we did all the Spider Slayers together. Technically, all of season 2 is Neogenic Nightmare, so we could smash it all out in one episode.
It'd be the quickest way, wouldn't it? Just to skip the whole thing.
And then all of season 3 are partners in danger. So we're done there. There's like 56 episodes of the show, but there's only 12 episodes of Panel Pals discussing it.
Wait, is season 3 when Daredevil's in it?
Yeah. Black Cat and
yes.
Daredevil, and episode 1 is Doctor Strange.
Oh, the Doctor Strange episode that was weird when they had that cult thing. I never like paid attention to that one.
It was weird how they tied it into Carnage later. Like Carnage works for Dormammu, two people who've never spoken in the comics.
Oh, it was so weird with the way they sort of handled that's like the ending of that sort of saga.
Because they can't have Carnage kill, but that's like what he's notorious for.
Yeah.
They have him steal souls for Dormammu.
His first like main story is literally just him going on a massive killing spree.
For no reason as well, he literally picks a fella's name out of like the phone book because it sounded stupid. And that's why he kills him.
In his first like proper story, he throws a baby out of a building.
And then in this, he can't even like. Robbie even says, he goes, Cassidy's done stuff we can't publish. It's like, yeah, because the census.
Yeah. Even the censor's got the bugle.
Why put lunatic mass murderer Carnage in your cartoon if you can't do anything with him?
You might as well put in that like fat spider kid who uses the Doc Ock's arms instead.
Yeah. Like Joker and Batman gets a body count, doesn't he? And then in like, Joker's favour, he tries to gas the entire police station and then tries to blow them all up at once.
But, I know we already talked about the one where Clark is presumed dead.
Yeah.
And how it ends with was it the commissioner or the governor? Gas. Yeah, but like that show also featured a criminal a person wrongly accused of committing a crime, and he was in the chair. Like if it wasn't for Superman, he was gonna die.
Yeah.
And this is a kid's show.
We were tougher back then.
It's what happened. Even if you look at like superhero shows now, we have What If, and it has like Agent Carter as this. In the finale, wasn't she like a mix of Ultron and all this other shit?
What one was Carter? Yeah, in the last one I saw, finale? It was Doctor Strange and went mental and tried to like destroy the multiverse or some shit.
I don't know. It was such a fail. Captain like they had so many cool ideas. Well, they could have had so many ideas they could have used, and instead it's like, what if T'Challa was picking up by Yondu instead? It's like, who even thinks of that?
I know, it's ridiculous. I was going through the episode list the other day. They were advertising season 3, and I was going through like the list of season 1 and 2, just trying to refresh my memory. I remember thinking, that one was shit, that one was shit, that one was shit. Like, just going through them all. Who thought of these? What a waste.
Yeah, like, you look at the what ifs of the old, and you got like, what if Spider-Man was fat? And like, that's a good story.
It's funny, yeah, it's a good one.
It's like, well, he wouldn't be able to swing. Or like, even the first what if was what if Spidey had actually joined the Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
That's such a good idea because it directly links to his first issue.
even like the one where Gwen lives and he reveals that he's Spider-Man to her and tries to marry her, but then Jonah Jameson reveals his identity. Have you read that one?
I haven't read much What If. I've mostly just looked at the covers to get an idea of what they are.
He's walking down the aisle to marry Gwen, who survived. But before Norman Osborn took over again, like before they beat the Goblin out of Norman, he sent photographic evidence to Jonah Jameson about who Spider-Man was. And Jonah storms in with the police with his evidence of Peter being Spidey. And he makes him go on the run, and Robbie quits the Bugle, saying how he's disgusted in Jonah.
He's always been his biggest off was Jameson.
That's what he's saying. He says he goes like, paraphrasing, the dialogue boxes say like the Green Goblin was Spider-Man's first like greatest enemy, but his second greatest was J. Jonah Jameson. Oh, it's sick.
But even just like the old like What If stories like those, it just fits better because it's a story, but it's a story that directly relates to the past, but it also not only does it provide a different outcome, but it makes sense. Like it's still a plausible outcome. Whereas, Agent Carter becoming or Peggy Carter becoming Captain America makes no sense. It doesn't fit within the story at all. It's not a possibility. T'Challa becoming Star-Lord is not a possibility.
That one in particular is dead stupid because it basically says he would have done everything right. Like they see Thanos in a bar and they're like, "Oh, it's Thanos, my best friend. Good thing you talked me out of that genocide."
It's literally just to put down Peter Quill.
It was, yeah.
It's just to say this guy's a moron.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help because everyone hated him after Infinity War when he started whacking Thanos for no reason.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
That was like honestly in Infinity War that was the worst part of the entire film. It made zero sense for him to just start whacking Thanos.
They had him where they wanted him.
And he just kill him? If you just let them take the glove off, you could kill him.
Yeah, just give us 2 seconds and you can have him. It's that easy, but
so stupid. Oh, modern Marvel. Oh, what a failure.
Mate, it's abysmal. I'm not into it.
Just like the Chameleon.
Huge failure. Aunt May once defeated him. Mary Jane took a baseball bat to him. Peter obviously rinses him on the regular.
I think you should pack it up. Like when Spidey tells Daredevil to retire? I think Craven should tell Chameleon to retire.
I love how
Craven retire. Brother, you should retire.
Chameleon in the comics.
Can you blame
despises him? He's like a spineless little coward. I can't blame him at all. But Chameleon's like, Craven, my brother, I love him so much, I can't. I'll avenge you, my brother. Craven's probably in his grave going, don't call me brother. Get away.
What do you mean, brother?
There was one time when Chameleon Harry Osborn's newborn baby to try and extract the goblin formula from his blood, and he's in the Craven estate like shitting himself because Spidey's there too.
Yeah.
He's just stalking him. You can see Spidey's like eyes in the shadows as Chameleon's like legging it around the building trying to escape.
And doesn't Spidey use Craven's gravestone as like a way to almost kill Chameleon?
Yeah. He like starts beating him up with it.
That's so cool. It's like out of all the loot, like that's
shit.
But that's what a loser like him deserves.
Yeah, to get beaten to death.
The cover was good. The cover was by Bagley, wasn't it?
The cover was it Origin of the Species, and the cover was like interlocking. It was all different Spider-Man characters that like makes a poster at the end.
No, I was thinking of the one where in the 90s where
it's
Mark Bagley drew the cover and he's holding up Craven's grave and it looks like he's just about to kill Chameleon with it.
Ooh. I was talking about it was from Brand New Day, Origin of the Species.
Oh no.
Which it was shit. But Spidey's like scaring Chameleon, trying to like sort him out.
I'll see if I can find the number for you because it was a pretty
Yeah,
cool
good.
cover. My God, there's so
Overall,
much shit.
Chameleon, he's not a threat, especially to someone with a spider sense.
Yeah, but it's just funny how everyone turned so stupid, including
It's the
Spider-Man
only way it would
sometimes.
work. It was like in Superior Spider-Man, where suddenly all the psychics don't read his mind. Anything to like
It's
keep the plot going.
it's issue 389, the conclusion to Pursuit. Mark Bagley drew the cover, and you got this ripped Spidey just like
Oh yeah,
Chameleon's
mate,
like
that's
shitting himself.
boss. Yeah, get him. The end of
That's
the
like
hunt
that sums
and the
him up.
most shattering revelation of all. Yeah, always in Craven's shadow.
I love
That's
Mark Bagley's design.
he's the best dude. That's probably Chameleon's greatest contribution in the. If he was in issue 1 of Spider-Man, that means he's what? He's over 60 years old character-wise. And his greatest contribution was introducing Spider-Man to Craven.
I just realized that in terms of where we're at now in comics for Spidey,
Yeah.
we're basically where we were in the 90s, except the stories are just that little bit more shitter. We're,
At
like,
least the
remember in the
90s are fucking
90s?
hard like this.
Yeah, but like, remember in the 90s where Peter was just constantly being shit on?
I remember disliking it where he'd be like, he is no longer the man. He is the
The
spider.
spy, yeah, yeah, like he went through
What?
that, and then right after that, he goes through the Clone Saga. So
Yeah.
we're like at that point almost where he's just in this really rough state.
At this
But then
point, Peter just should give up being Peter. Everything he had to
Daredevil
fight
now needs
for
to tell him
is
to
gone.
retire. It should be
Yeah.
vice versa.
There's no point to being Peter anymore. Everything he like the family he was once fighting for is gone. Everyone hates him. He may as well just go full-time Spider-Man. Just go like be a hobo or like
He could literally work for Shield at this point.
that's
But even
actually
just,
that's a good idea if I'm honest.
it's just like the night or the end of the depressing Peter era resulted in the JMS run. So,
Ooh.
well, actually, no, we had to go through the John Byrne and
Oh, the reboot.
yeah, that we had to go
Year
through that. So
one.
maybe we've got like a couple more shit to go through. But then after that, we should technically get our own JMS era if they're gonna follow a cycle.
Well, now and then we get real shit like 10 years of slot. Then we get a brief bit of hope, like the 2 years of Spencer, and then it gets ripped right back away from us again.
Yeah,
Or
because we kind of
during
like
those 2 years,
well, I bet the stock rise
we
big
are
time for Spidey comics.
we are quite like him in a way because anyone can win when the odds are easy.
It's
It's
when the
when the
going's
going
tough.
gets tough. That's when it counts.
Well, anyway, let's just say the going is very tough right
Oh,
now
it's
for Spidey comics. It is Chameleon level tough. It's we're
I
in the
think.
trenches.
What's your opinion of when the Spider-Man comics go so far out of their own world in a way, like currently, where he's now fighting gods enchanted by Doctor Doom magic? We've gone a bit away from friendly neighborhood stuff.
It's weird because like, it's a double-edged sword because I feel like Zeb Wells' run was so shit that maybe this would be the only time a story like that would work.
It's a nice refresh after like Zeb Wells has just destroyed the friendly neighborhood bit of it. We've just done
Yeah,
like
so like
gang
maybe we can have
violence
a
and that, and it was all
break,
shit.
and
Yeah,
then by the
a
time we
palate
return,
cleanser.
yeah, then when we return, hopefully it can be all sorted, but I doubt it.
Yeah, good way to
But
look
like,
at
yeah,
that. Bit of a break from the normal dog shit. Bit of
yeah,
something different. Whether it's good or
some
bad, at least it's different.
some lesser shit. It's still pretty bad, but it's not as bad.
Yeah, they're still killing Spider-Man every issue just for a laugh.
Mate,
You've
even
killed
the
his
fact that
social
like
life already, so
The rebirth could have been like maybe slight discomfort, but no, they had to pick the most excruciating, most painful experience one could imagine.
Mm.
Just because it's Peter going through it.
Just to put him down again, mate. Exactly.
It's like the guy just died in a painful way. He got spaghettified, and then the
And because of
rebirth is.
time dilation, that should have lasted like 96 hours or something, they say, don't they?
Well, also, it's like.
Hours of excruciating pain.
But also, like, Peter feels, I think, each atom slowly rebuild itself in his body.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? Why? What was the
Making him suffer emotionally wasn't enough anymore. Now they've got to do it physically.
We've gone from indirectly torturing him to, like, purposefully killing him and rebirthing him.
Just to kill him again.
And again, and again, and again, and again. Modern Spider-Man comics, ladies and gentlemen.
I yearn for the days of Chameleon. Day of the Chameleon, that was the episode title as well. Let's end it there.
Oh, God.
What have we got coming up on the docket?
What's next now? What we got now?
I believe, should be Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions Noir, which is French.
For black, is
for
it?
Black,
oh, what a guess.
Oh, now, I have actually read more than just Spider-Man Noir, so I may end up mentioning, like, the other titles in the franchise, but not at length.
I've only done the first four.
Oh, the second one was okay.
I mean, at least the four is like the most relevant for the villains because they use all of them, don't they?
Do you know the DS version used Calypso instead?
As like the villain.
Yeah.
Instead of like what, Vulture?
Instead of I think instead of Vulture, yeah, might have been instead of Hammerhead.
No way.
Yeah, mate, Calypso.
Why?
I don't know.
How did that even fit? I don't even remember Calypso in the comic.
She's not in there.
So they just admit like an actual crucial like character to the Spider-Man Noir comics in favor for a random.
Yeah, just chuck him in. Something.
Did she like look like she was from the Great Depression, or was it like it was still?
I'm gonna Google it. It was in the DS,
so
and
random.
Also the DS omitted all of the Ultimate Universe.
What the fuck are they thinking?
Crazy. Calypso Noir. I've typed in. There it is. So she just looks like she's wearing like skull face paint.
Oh yeah.
Criminal voodoo priestess.
Oh, because I think Vulture's in 2099 maybe in that one. There's Boomerang. No way.
Boomerang. Sick, dude.
I need to see all the villains for this. So Shed Dimensions, is it the DS?
Yeah.
DS villains.
Yeah, let's have a look.
So mainstream has Electro and Tinkerer.
What a team up.
Noir has Boomerang and Calypso. 2099 has the Vulture and Silvermane.
Silvermane? Who do you want for your Spider-Man villain, dude? Give me Silvermane.
Even the fact that both games both ignored Flipside for 2099.
They'd rather have Silvermane than Flipside. Oh, that's good.
At least the Vulture makes sense.
Yeah, at least he was in the comics. They're very similar, actually. 2099 and Noir Vultures, aren't they? They're both lunatic cannibal.
But even just like the fact they had Boomerang is the most random thing.
I know, mate. I can't get over Silvermane. When's he ever been like a threat?
Just decapitate his head. You can't do anything about it. He's literally like stuck at that point.
Yeah, he can just bite at you, but he's got no momentum, cool, so it's fine. Go on.
There's a Marvel Legends figure. I don't know if it was if it was Shocker or who was the other one that kept was it? They kept trying to steal the head.
Hydro
The
Man
fast,
sees it but runs
the
away.
fast one.
Speed Beam.
Speed Demon. That's right. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think one of them comes with like a little accessory of Silvermane and that like in that car toy he was in, where it's just his head.
Nice.
So you don't even need like a proper Silvermane figure in your display. You go, he's right there.
Yeah, there it is. It's canon. In your
It's
Super
probably his
Foes
best story.
diorama. Absolutely. And then, dude, Venom, the alien costume saga coming in.
About time.
Finally, man.
We were
We need to come up
for
with a
something.
funny skit for the start of that.
I still think we like the mask is the Panel Pals podcast,
Oh, yeah.
and it falls and then, look at me, I'm the Panel
Hey,
Pal.
look at me. That bit's incredible, mate. We'll see. We'll see all that next time on Panel Pals.
Be there or be square. Same
Trying to think
panel
like
time,
a
same
relevant
panel channel.
panel channel. That's good. It's a good rhyme. Trying to think of a Chameleon relevant one.
Uh,
Oh,
don't be boring like the Chameleon.
don't be shit. Venom's actually an alright one.
Be
Don't be
be
shit.
original. Don't copy others.
Yeah, there
There we
you go, mate. Be yourself, man. Don't be
Yeah,
afraid
exactly.
to be yourself.
Don't be like the Chameleon.
Never be like the Chameleon.